So city majors is this group that which has an index to classify cities around the world in regards of their economic power, their leadership, and the innovation, also as their the influence they have around the world. So far we have only two alpha plus plus cities in the world. Mm, and those two cities are London and New York City. They are classified as alpha plus plus cities based on economic power, uh, cultural influence, uh, social development, the Gini factor, which is measure of quality of life, uh, as well as investment in infrastructure. Location is a very important factor because those two cities are world hubs, so they are hyper-connected, and the dynamic between the two cities creates a zone of influence bigger than the sum of the parts. So that means that the relationship between London and New York City creates a area of influence bigger than the sum of New York City and London itself. So that's kind of connections are very important. That we can call it axis of progress are very important. So since in the 21st century we are going to witness the rise of Asia and in particular of China, the center of gravity of the economy and the developing world will be most likely in Asia. So what we are going to do in America? We should create also access of development, but this time between north and south. Similar axis like I just described it, like between New York and London, but now to north and south. Just remember that in space there is no difference between north and south. It's just an abstraction created for economists and for humans. In the space there is no difference between north and south. So either way, the idea is to create axis of development between the two poles, north and south in America, uh, because the only way for USA to keep their position as leader, as a superpower in this century, is leading the whole continent in the same direction. So creating this axis of development between north and south will be a very clever geopolitical movement to in order to move forward this century. Now, there are things very interesting to think about. For instance, we are in the 21st century. We don't have still a connection, a highway between the Central America and South America. So, in other words, we don't have the famous Pan American highway connection yet. So, another way to incentivize this kind of access of development is to create uh, many small axes of connection in America. One of the very important axes of development will be the highway that is going to connect Panama City and Medellin in Colombia, which are two cities which are complementary. Because you should remind You should remember that United States of Colombia was a real thing. There was a federation in Colombia. And also remember that Panama was a department of Colombia. So connecting those two cities, which is our complementary cities, Panama City is a financial hub. Medellin is an industrial hub. So they complement each other. And so creating this highway will create a hub of development, a zone of development, a rich zone of development area. And by the way, will be will connect the Americas, physically talking, and also in terms of business. So let's do it. Why not?